This is Blaine Cluten for Cluten Law. The question today is, will a misdemeanor ruin my life? And the way that I look at this, it breaks down into two categories or two ways of looking at this. The first part is, what are we going to do on the front end for mitigating or reducing the crime level as much as possible? And then the second part is, on the back end, once we know we have a misdemeanor, what can we do about it? That back end, what are we going to do with the misdemeanor, breaks down into how is that really affecting my quality of life, as in what jobs am I able to get, what rights have I lost, and ability to go to college or apply for financial aid, those types of collateral consequences. So let's first look at that first issue about what are we going to do now that we know we've been charged with a misdemeanor on the front end. And this is the point where I'm going to say that a good criminal defense attorney is worth their weight in gold to get you through the case and get you the best result possible to either avoid the misdemeanor conviction altogether or reduce the charge down either to a front-end violation, back-end violation, or some diversion if that's at all possible or an option. Otherwise, you're looking at, if you're originally charged with a felony, getting that reduced down to a misdemeanor. There's a lot of different ways that this can cut in criminal law, but ultimately the question is going to be, in a lot of cases, are we going to take this misdemeanor to trial and try and avoid the charge by getting a jury to find you not guilty so that you're never convicted of that crime? So that's really going to be, as I mentioned, where the attorney is going to be worth their weight in gold, because you're going to either reduce that charge down as much as possible or avoid the criminal conviction altogether. The second part of this, kind of that collateral consequences, what do we do with a conviction once it's in place? And this is where it's my opinion that the vast majority of folks that have been convicted of a misdemeanor are not going to have an impact on their day-to-day life following the conviction. And this is for a couple of reasons. One is that, in my experience, most jobs are not necessarily going to be precluded simply because you have a misdemeanor or because you're able to make a motion to set aside that previous misdemeanor conviction so that it doesn't appear in your criminal record. So the question comes up on the job application, do you have any criminal convictions on your record? You at that point generally can answer no. But again, circumstances are going to vary case by case. This is not legal advice. You're going to need to talk to an attorney or a legal professional before you answer any of those questions. But generally, that's true. And that's the point of getting the conviction set aside, is so you can answer those types of questions like that. If you have other questions about voting rights restoration, gun rights restoration, additional questions about whether you're qualified for to apply for financial aid, I would encourage you to talk to an attorney, because a lot of those situations are fact by fact, case by case, and conviction by conviction dependent. And so you're going to want to get a consultation to find out whether you qualify in your particular circumstance. But there's only very few jobs, in my opinion, that if you've ever been convicted of a misdemeanor, you're completely precluded from, even if you've done a motion to set aside that conviction, which is also referred to as an expungement. But again, talk to an attorney about your particular circumstances. But in general, my opinion is that if you're convicted of a misdemeanor, probably not going to be ruining your life, but you need to either mitigate it on the front end or make a plan on the back end for how you're going to minimize the damage. This is Blaine Cluten for Cluten Law. Thank you.